is Cricket from the Coat Hangers, and you're listening to Drop the Mic.
I want to talk a little bit more about your background. You made some references earlier to subjective human experiences and terrible things. And actually, I'm confused about your past.
Is that still lingering?
Just to clarify.
It's so boring.
I just want to clear some
useless.
things up.
Yeah, excuse me. See, thank you, love. It's a funny thing that this is an important element of Seduce and Destroy. Facing the past is an important way of not making progress. It's something I tell my men over and over and over.
This isn't meant.
I try to teach my students to ask, what is it innate of?
Are you asking me that?
Yes.
Well, in trying to figure out who you are and how. Well, Frank, I'm saying that in trying to figure out who you are.
See, I have more important things.
Well, no, it's all important,
into.
Frank. I think this is something very important that you might need to think about putting yourself into.
Not really.
Frank, it's not like I'm trying to attack you here.
No?
I just.
Okay, hey, this is how you want to spend your time. Then go. But you're going to be surprised at what a waste it is. The most useless thing in the world is that which is behind me. Chapter 3.
We talked earlier about your mother. And we talked about your father and his death. And I don't want to be challenging, but I have to ask. I just want to clarify something that I understand.
I'm not sure I hear a question in there.
Hey, I'm trying to put this as delicately as I can.
What's the question?
Do you remember Miss Sims?
I know a lot of women. I'm sure she remembers me.
She does. From when you were a boy.
Yeah?
She lived in Tarzana.
It's my old stomping ground. Is this the tax portion of the interview? Is the girl coming in for the kill?
No, this is about getting something right and clarifying one of your answers to an earlier question.
What question?
I was told that your mother died, Frank.
That's what you heard.
Do you remember Miss Sims?
Hey there, and welcome back to our San Diego podcast. This is episode 183, Driving Sideways, where we will be discussing Paul Thomas Anderson's 1999 film Magnolia, courtesy of our own Diego Luna. We are your hosts for the time being. First up, we have the Diego Luna in the house, followed by James Warney.
Hey.
DJ Anaris.
What's up?
And finally, I, the Swan. Welcome, everyone, and thanks for tuning in. Before we dive into this hard-edged drama of sorts, we've got a few segments to warm you up at home.
And now for a special news report. Brought to you by Drop the Mic.
All right before we get started, I want to say welcome back to James and Anaris, who we missed last week. So, James,
thank you.
Kick us off with some news.
So first and foremost, we actually started this week off pretty bad with getting the news that Black Panther, the actor who plays Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, had passed away earlier this week due to colon cancer, and he was only 43 years old, which is insane to me. From still a super young guy, went with a huge career ahead of him.
Battling this in secret for 4 years, which is so admirable, doing all of the stunt work, and obviously in the midst of his career really taking off, where he's, kind of inducted into this as a legend, the first Black Panther, and it's so amazing that it was like that role and that film was so well received, showing the world that and Marvel and just the comic book world that we as fans were eager for African American content.
Yes,
and that's a big deal. Continue, James.
Yeah, and I wanted to hopefully we can dedicate this episode to him and his honor and everything that he was. All I see over Instagram the last couple of days was a bunch of actors who even who knew him well, who acted with him in movies, or those who just kind of met with him behind the scenes at award ceremonies and things like that. But everyone had great things to say. They said, he was such a wise and caring person, generous, always, true to his character, and never bowed down. And you can, like you said, it's just crazy that he was, I want to say he probably was diagnosed or found out that he had colon cancer probably right after Civil War, if the timeline kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I would say so.
And that's just crazy. If that's the starting off point for his career, and then for him to kind of do all these movies and just be amazing, and kind of, I don't know if he knew it was kind of going to be his. I don't know if he knew, he didn't have a short time available or what, but it's just crazy, and I want to honor him and just say rest in peace.
Yeah. He had like his filmography stemmed back to about, I think, 2009, 2010. He was Jackie Robinson in 42. Yeah. He was James Brown and Get On Up.
Yeah.
He did, what was it, he
did 21 Bridges.
Yeah, just last year.
Yeah. Yeah, which is crazy.
So R.I.P. to him.
Yeah.
Sure. Heartbreaking.
Moving on to some more news. We got John Boyega actually throwing some shade at Disney for mishandling his character, who he played in the Star Wars, the last trilogy that just happened.
Finn?
He played Finn, yeah. He kind of said Disney kind of misled him and fans into thinking that he might be play a larger role in the series, and he kind of got pushed to the wayside as the trilogy went on, and he kind of felt like he was disrespected as an actor and as a person, and mainly just used him because he is an African American, an actor, and kind of just using that, to pull in more of a crowd.
I wanted to say, yeah, I totally agree in that he turned into the Megan Fox of Star Wars, where he had no real worth rather than running around and screaming other characters' names after a while.
Yeah,
and that was very noticeable to me. Where it's just like, what happened to like his character development? In a lot of ways. Not to say, because the guy's a phenomenal actor. If you see his indie stuff and all the way back to Attack the Block, he's a great dude, and obviously an activist and stuff. So I could see why he would be disheartened after them closing that saga and then seeing how everything ended up.
It's a certain pattern, dude. Because I think on not to get away from this news, but on The Walking Dead, I forget one of the characters. But he plays one of the more important characters, and they just totally disregarded his character after a while, and then he went on to go to Fear the Walking Dead instead.
Morgan?
I don't know. Morgan, yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably just a common thing that is going on in Hollywood, and it's starting to get more addressed right now at this point.
No, that's it for my news. I thought that was just pretty interesting. There's some more news about some horror news, kind of. Or slasher news, really. Jack Quaid from Amazon's The Boys show, he is being added to the cast of the new Scream sequel. It's a sequel, right, Wes?
Yes.
Nice.
Okay, continuation, correct?
Yes. Of Wes Craven's story arc. So.
Yeah. So he's a great actor. I love him. He's hilarious in The Boys. He's really funny in Lucky Logan. He plays like a hillbilly character. He's hilarious in that. So yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. I know Wes is excited for the sequel, or number 5, but anybody else excited to go see that if it does come out in theaters?
If it does drop, I'm ready, dude. It'll be tight.
I'm down.
I know I told you, Wes, that as long as Arquette's in there, I'm good.
Yeah, right.
The guy who can't be killed. So,
hey.
They tried many times, but he just keeps coming back.
Yeah, he always gets fucked up, and then
stabbed in the back and fucking insane.
You can't kill. You can't keep Dewey down.
Hell no. Has anybody checked out his David Arquette's documentary?
Actually, I got a free copy and I rented it on VOD.
Nice.
My friend did some camera work for the documentary, so he gave me a free copy, and which I got shit on for last week's episode for not knowing the actual title of the movie. And so actually that was gonna be my rec.
Okay, we'll save it then. We'll save it. All right. So you have seen it. All right. That just answers my question. All right.
Yeah.
Moving on. I know I wasn't here to talk about DC fandom. I just want to say that was amazing. You guys covered it amazingly. I'm super excited for the Batman. It looks badass, and it's crazy to me that you guys mentioned it already, but they only filmed about 25 to 30% of the movie, and they were able to put together a trailer that looks like a sick trailer. So I can't wait to see the rest of another trailer with more of the movie. But excited to see that one. And with the huge success of DC fandom, I honestly think that Disney or Marvel or some other companies might kind of create their own online convention experience, kind of piggybacking off of what DC fandom has really done. And they're still going to have another event coming, I think, next weekend.
Oh wow!
Yeah, very big, dude.
Yeah, so it's crazy. My last bit of news. Here we go. Disney has released the premiere date for The Mandalorian Season 2. It's going to be October 30th.
Nice.
Also, to piggyback off of that news, for anybody who is a fan of vinyl and soundtracks, Mondo has available for pre-order the Season 1 of Mandalorian Deluxe vinyl edition, which will complete with a bunch of custom artwork, and it's really a beautiful set. It runs you $200, which is pretty steep, but it's well worth it if you are a fan with what you get.
Probably going to sell out.
I got one more bit of news here, and that's it, right? So it looks like James Wan has promised that his 2022 sequel for Aquaman will be a little bit more serious, so not so comic booky and comedic, I guess, and a lot more culturally relevant than the previous installment. So look to have a more serious Aquaman. I know, Wes, you weren't too much of a fan of Aquaman, were you?
No, I thought it's a fun movie, but I'm interested to see how they take it in a more serious direction, and maybe that's what I needed to like it more. So I'm glad that they're steering off in that direction.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think James Wan might have noticed what he did wrong, and so now he's like, okay, I got one more try, I think, to probably fix it. So I think that's where he's at right now, and I know he's working on that right now. I think he's been working on that since he finished the first one. So hopefully 2022 comes around a little sooner than later, and it's not so shitty like this year. All right, that's it for my news.
Nice, thanks, James.
Sure.
Honoris, you wanna go next?
Yeah, I got more bummer news, dude. So I got Joe Ruby, the co-creator of Scooby-Doo, has just died at 87 years old from natural causes. So that's pretty sad. I got even more death for that just happened. Leslie Hamilton, the sister of Linda Hamilton, passed away from, I think, I have no reason for the cause of death. There's no cause of death.
I think it's unknown as of right now.
Yeah.
That's also very sad. So heart goes out to Linda, and that's all for my news, man. It was just some bummer news. And besides that, the DC fandom thing was awesome, dude. I'm so excited for DC. It's their time to shine. With the loss of Chadwick Boseman for Disney, it's gonna be hard for them to bounce back, dude. So
Yeah.
I think it's DC's turn, and they need to branch out and maybe make some more stuff. If you say you didn't like Aquaman, it's time to adjust that and make a second movie that's at your tone. So that's cool. I'm excited. The games look fucking really good too, dude.